Can you please check your audio? Because not able to hear, Mr. Narsingh Rao. Mr. Narsingh Rao, can you hear me?
I don't think his audio is connected.
Sir, Mr. Narsingh Rao, can you hear me? Can you please check your mic? Can you once say a few words? Switch on the mic, Mr. Narsingh Rao. Hello, Mr. Narsingh Rao. Can you hear?
She write down on one number 7838 463 6890.
Can you say a few words, Mr. Rao? If you are not joining from the system, try from mobile.
Naveen, you need to call him and tell him, I don't think.
Yes, I did call him. I informed him.
Yeah, his audio is not connected.
Yeah, I called him and told.
Can you please confirm this is Vinod Babu, CP7?
Welcome, Mr. Vinod Babu. Your audio is clear. Can you test your video also? Can you switch on? Yeah, very clear. Thank you. Hello, sir.
Yes.
Can you please speak?
Yeah, I can. Am I
Great.
audible? Hello? Am I audible now?
Very much, sir. Very much.
Sorry, there were some technical. Now,
So we have all the inaugural speakers. We are just waiting for Dr. Amit Dove. He's a director of Ministry of Environment. He's also joining along with Mr. Vinod Babu. He's a director of CPCB, Pollution Control Board. Mr. Vinod Babu.
Yeah, I am here. I am here.
Yes, Mr. Narsingh Rao, can you please check your mic? I think I called you, so we have. Is it okay? Can you switch on your mic and just test one more time before we start the program? Please try to join from the mobile or other device. In this particular device, I think there is an issue, audio. It will be while you have some time to join as a speaker. In the meantime, you can rejoin if possible, because we can see but not able to hear you. Try to connect from other mobile device, sir, Mr. Narsingh Rao, if possible.
Good to see you, Naresh back here. I saw you in attendee.
Acha, I don't know that I used the link which was shared.
Uh-huh.
There was some technical glitch because of Zoom call.
Then Naresh, I have another meeting at 4:30. So what I'll do, I'll ask my colleague to make the presentation. I've asked him to join, Dr. Badal Balchandani. Because board meeting आ रहा है ना, मुझे जाना पड़ेगा meeting को.
Naveen, that is okay, na?
वो मेरे
Yes,
लिए
that's okay, sir. The presentation is a later part which he can replace.
Yeah. I have given the same link. He will join and make the presentation. I leave at 4:30, maybe 5 minutes before 4:25. Are we starting now?
He will be joining the same link, right? So you can tell me his name.
Badal.
Badal Balchandani.
Sir, so sir, can we start? I think let's remaining come. I think it's better we can start.
Sure.
So before you do, welcome to I would like good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the program EPR for Plastic Waste Management in Industries. Request Dr. Naresh Tyagi, Chairman of Climate Action Committee, Indian Chamber of Commerce, who is also the Chief Sustainability Officer of Aditya Birla Fashion Retail, to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Sure. Thank you, Naveen, for this opportunity. Shri Ashwin Kumar Chaubeji, Honorable Minister, State Minister for Environment, Forest, Climate Change. Shri B. Vinod Babu, Director, Central Pollution Control Board. Mr. Devbalya Banerjee, Regional Director, Indian Chamber of Commerce. Mr. Prabodha Acharya, Chief Sustainability Officer, JSW. Mr. K.R. Raghunath, Managing Director, Knowledge Integrated Service Private Limited. All the speakers, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It's indeed my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all at this virtual seminar on extended producer responsibility on plastic waste management for the industry, which is being organized by Indian Chamber of Commerce today. I would like to extend a very, very warm welcome to the entire panel of dignitaries present here today in this virtual session. My heartfelt thanks goes to all the industry veterans for their gracious presence. I am very grateful for the august presence of Shri Ashwini Kumar Chaubeji, Honorable State Minister for Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Dr. Amit Lau, Director, Ministry for Environment, Forest and Climate Change. I would like to thank Mr. Prabodh Acharya, Chief Sustainability Officer, JSW, Mr. K.R. Raghunath, Mr. B. Vinod Babu, Director, Center Pollution Control Board, Mr. R. Narsingh Rao, Chief Functionary, Sahara NGO, Ms. Soumya D, Scientist D, Regional Director, Chennai Pollution Center Pollution Control Board, Mr. Vijay Kumar, President, President, Karnataka State Polymer Association, Dr. Sunil Pandey, Director, PERI, Environment and Waste Management, Shri Rahul Podarji, Managing Director, Shakti Plastic Industries. At this onset, I would like to say that we all know that every manufacturer, importer, brand owner, what we call is PIBO, falls under the ambit of EPR, Extended Producer Responsibilities now. In order to ensure correct processing and disposal of material, waste must be directed to a licensed dismantlers or recyclers. Looking back, if I can recall that in 2012, Indian government has implemented EPR to handle electronic waste. And in 2016, EPR was extended to plastic waste manufacturer by Plastic Waste Management Rule. So first EPR norms for plastic in India were introduced as early as 2016. However, most business was unable to achieve their EPR goal until 2020, maybe due to lack of awareness. So creating more and more awareness is the prime agenda for the entire industry. Among the other issues that are encompassing the EPR domain in India are very tedious documentation process, and also large scale technology are not present in our nation to tackle the plastic waste management scenario here. Another very critical issue with the EPR and its related logistics is that there is no way to track back the EPR processing and see the full traceability in the system. To ensure of the essence of EPR policy in India, focus to attain increased collection, recycling rate for cost efficiency, value chain optimization, and a very well functioning and transparent waste management ecosystem in our country. According to Plastic Industry Status Report 2021, the estimated market size of the India's plastic industry stood at approximate 7 lakh square feet, 7 lakh crore, which is almost 95 billion US dollar as of 21-22, and it employ more than 4 million people. As of 21-22, India plastic demand was 20.89 million tons, which is expected to exceed further to 22 million tons by the year 2023. But as per the plastic industry insight, only 60% of it is recycled after the plastic waste that is generated in the products and our ecosystem during the consumption, and its packaging is mostly discarded. Hence, in India, we need more rigorous management of plastic waste for a sustainable ecosystem. We need to look for ways so that companies can internalize and systemize the true cost of their production and invest in sustainable practice and ecosystem. Hence, at this virtual meeting, we will try to look at those issues which are very complex, but we have a lot of experts and panelists for their suggestion and opinion from our industries and experts. I truly believe this webinar can pave the way for more sustainable and inclusive growth for handling plastic waste management for the industries in our country. With these words, I would now request our honorable chief guest to share his thoughts. Thank you, Naveen. Hand over to you, Devbande.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Tyagi. The Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change is sent his message, and that we will read out in the later part. He is in attending Environment Youth Festival, so he's busy there. I would like to request the next speaker to deliver the keynote address, Shri B. Vinod Babu, Director of Central Pollution Control Board. May I welcome him?
Yeah, good afternoon and thank you for for inviting for this discussion, panel discussion. So first of all, Mr. Naresh Tyagi already highlighted about the EPR concept. To start with, it has initially started formally in the year 2015. We attempted, but there has been no significant progress on ground with respect to understanding the EPR concept. That's why we have revised the guidelines in 2021 and 22 on how to implement the EPR. So if you look at the overarching framework, EPR comes from the very principles of circular resource efficiency initiatives. Okay, resource efficiency and circular economy. Circular economy is a part of the resource efficiency. The primary objective has been how to conserve our resources, because consumption of resources are very high. And secondly, how to ensure that materials are reused and dependency on the primary resources is reduced, because our consumptions are ever increasing. Our country itself is one of the very fast developing country, and our resource consumptions are going to be very high. So this is one of the primary governing factor on which this EPR, Extended Producer Responsibility framework has come. So if you look at the extended framework responsibility, it talks about the responsibility and the producer to ensure that there is a circularity, means the material is come back, the end of life material comes back into the system. Circular economy, as I told, is part of the resource efficiency initiative. So circular extended producer responsibility is a tool to ensure that circular economy objectives are fulfilled. So in this, this is the basic background. So once you want to look into how this framework is evolved in our country, the earliest known rules we have on the batteries waste management rules in the year 2001, wherein the responsibility is given to the manufacturers to ensure that end of life batteries are recycled back. End of life batteries are recycled back, the producer responsibility is given, but the entire framework is not spelled. So it is understood that producers are having 100% responsibility on the batteries they place on the market. So if you look into down the line 18 years, there was not much progress. So now that is the reason that separate notifications have been issued for implementing extended producer responsibility. For the first time, the word extended producer's responsibility has been introduced, and thereafter, how to implement these responsibility, the guidelines have been issued. So to start with, we have EPR in e-waste management rules. Thereafter, we have subsequently extended to plastic waste. Now, we have also implemented EPR framework in used batteries, waste batteries, and waste tires. And also we have new notifications coming for used oils. And thereafter in future, we'll be having extended producer responsibility for ELVs, end of life vehicles. This is the framework that is involved here. So if I can share with you one or two slides, just wondering. If you can see this screen, so this is the principles I'm talking about. This is a very simple diagram that talks about circularity in waste management. If you see that the dashed line is a linear economy in which extraction, production, and use and end of life. It is an open cycle. There is no responsibilities anywhere. So here we have different concepts here. If you see the purple and yellow lines, so these are the user to user. So these two lines are user to user means if I am using the material, I can pass it after some years. So our objective is to ensure that material is in the cycle to the extent possible. So in these various business models, you can see user to business, business to user, and business to business. These are the models in which the circular economy, market economy, we can find within this. If you look into our regulation and compare to the European Union regulations, this kind of regulations are not given for ensuring the essential producer responsibility. Certain targets are given. How the business is conducted, there is no very specific guidelines. But in our case, the emphasis in other countries' directives is that there should be a system of collection, transportation, and this ecosystem is established or not. That is more focus is given here. So in our guidelines, what we have given is targets are given to the producer, and the recycler can generate certificates. And when the targets are given on the producer to ensure that the waste comes into cycle, and the targets are given on the recycler to ensure that this material is effectively recycled in an environmentally safe manner. When these are set, the ecosystem involved between the collection and coming to the producer is auto-corrected. So it means that is how the rules are evolved. So the target is only the producer and the certificate is generated by recycler. So by setting these two targets, the entire business ecosystem will evolve around it. That is how we are doing. It means, see, this is the first time a centralized extended producer responsibility portals we have prepared, and entire EPR is it is on the software that is called EPR Central Softwares. If I, as I said, we have for waste batteries, waste tires, e-waste, and plastic waste. These are the four wastes for which we have already developed certain online portals for compliance. So if you look at the actions taken so far, so we have EPR framework for plastic, e-waste, tires, and batteries. If you look into the earlier regulations, see, when our EPR framework is to ensure the waste which are otherwise not coming into the loop of recycling. Especially the classic example is plastics and e-waste. You find these are recycled everywhere in unsustainable manner. The informal recycling, burning, e-waste burning, tire burning, batteries or informal recycling of batteries are a highly toxic material. This is the reason that EPR framework has to be brought in. But if you look at our other waste management rules, we have hazardous waste management rules. There is also the hazardous waste are recycled. So we have developed SOPs, 84 SOPs in recycling of hazardous waste. We have last 2 years, 2021-22, 2021, we have recycled about 5.88 million metric tons of hazardous waste. This has come into circularity. This is done by the business and recycling of industrial hazardous waste. And also we have, here we have recycled metal scraps, used oils, waste oils, and also drosses, spent catalyst. They are also recycled, nearly 1.63 million metric tons is recycled. Similarly, high volume, low effect wastes are also, we are issuing guidelines. This is also part of the resource conservation. We have given how to utilize the utilization targets for these high volume, low effect wastes. Similarly, urban wastes, we have guidelines. We have been CPCB has prepared guidelines for how to recycle these technical guidelines for ELV recycling. We have given guidelines for e-waste recycling and plastic waste also. And specific guidelines are also given for use of single-use plastics. So how to get into phasing out single uses and get alternatives for that. So, and you will be knowing that nearly out of 5.8 million metric tons, nearly 2 million tons is going to cement plants in co-processing. So that is also a very important area where the waste is used for energy or resource recovery in the kiln itself. So we are also working with NITI Aayog and various ministries for circular economy models, and also a primary role of CPCB has been in developing the technical guidelines for recyclers, and also CPCB is the nodal agency for implementing EPR software, developing the software and its framework. So so we have, as I said, for batteries, the rules came in August 22, and we have already started EPR portal registration has been started. Then
Vinod Babu, may I interrupt you if is it okay?
Yes, please.
If you don't mind, can you please hold your presentation? We have actually another speaker leaving. So
Okay.
Can you please continue the presentation later? I'll call your name.
Yeah, I think this is my last slide, I guess.
Okay.
So just I want to summarize that CPCB role has been primarily into development of guidelines, and we are also developing portals. So we strongly believe that the EPR model will work in achieving sustainable recycling as well as achieving the resource efficiency targets in our country. Thank you for the time.
Thank you, Mr. Vinod Babu. Thank you so much for your precious time. And coming at the last moment notice turned up, we are very grateful to you. Please kindly stay back for the remaining program. If you have any questions, we'll take it from them. If you are available, that would be nice. May I request Mr. Prabodh Acharya? He is the Chief Sustainability Officer of Jindal. May I, sir, request you to switch on your video? Request Mr. Vinod Babu to kindly unshare the screen presentation. May I welcome Mr. Prabodh Acharya to do a special address?
Hi, so Mr. Acharya, sorry, I have to intervene because Mr. Acharya has just gone off for some important meeting here, a call from the CEO's office. So he has gone for the presentation, and he has asked me to present a couple of slides on this PR.
Okay, so are you able to share the screen?
Yes, I will do that, but I still have somebody who's still sharing this. I think Vinod Babu.
Okay, can I request the team to please kindly unshare the screen? Can I request my IT team to please unshare it to help Mr. Vinod Babu to unshare the screen?
Yeah, I am just trying, but
So you just have to press the share screen button.
yeah, but I am trying, but it is not doing from my end.
Yes, I think our team is well. So, try Mr. From Mr. Prabodh Acharya, can you share right now? I think I just changed the setting. We have changed the settings. Can you share the screen?
Yes, I have. If it is visible, can you let me know?
I think now is it okay? I think. Yeah.
Shall I go ahead? Is it?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, hi. This is Badal Balchandani, and I'm a part of Mr. Prabodh Acharya's team. Sorry, he had to go for a.
Still seeing the screen of the old presentation.
Still that old PPT is on screen. Yeah, now it has come. Yes.
Now it is visible.
So it is Mr. This belongs to Mr. Prabodh Acharya.
Yes.
Yeah.
So thank you for giving this opportunity. I'll just have a couple of slides to talk about from the behalf of JSW's perspective of waste management, typically on the EPR. To give a glimpse to give a glimpse on what exactly.
May I request, sorry to interrupt, I request the other speakers who are not, can you please mute your speaker, Mr. Narasimha?
Thank you. So to give a overarching context to this, we at JSW have 17 key focus areas identified as a part of our sustainability. And it is basically coming up from our vision of sustainability, which is broadly borrowed from the Brundtland statement. We have 7 pillars of our strategy elements, and then comes to the 17 key focus areas. They are different from the 17 UN SDGs. We have tried to assess the national and the international frameworks, the material topics related to the sector, of course, and to do the materiality that has given us our 17 key focus areas, into which, along with others like climate change, energy, water, etc., and so on, we have waste and resources also identified as one of the key focus areas for JSW. This broad framework is there, which talks about management standards, technical standards, guidance notes, and policies. When we talk about our 17 focus areas, we are glad to say that we have a policy to address each of our focus areas. And we have developed a framework, a tight framework, to see that as we are a group, we are spread across multiple locations across India and some parts of Europe. But in India, what we are trying to say that whatever framework we are adopting has to be adopted by all the locations. The methodology has to be same, and that's why the development of standards have taken place. Our strategy also involves what we say as zero waste to landfill model, wherein we follow the hierarchical structure of prevent, reuse, recycle, and dispose across the value chain. And we have specific working group which is working on waste management and circular economy. We believe that waste is typically not a waste for us, and we try to see that all our waste becomes wealth and is useful to in some or the another matter, whether it is for our industry or it is for a different sector. We have committed to separate targets related to environment, social, and governance, but typically when it comes to waste, we have a target in place, which is 100% recycling of all the waste which are generated from our operations by 2030. And the trend, what it shows below on the bottom right of the chart, where we were in FY05 and now where we are in FY22, and how do we want to maintain all our waste, which is typically going to be recycled for the next coming years. When it comes to typically recycling of waste or making wealth from waste, we as JSW, when there was a motion which was led by Mr. Narendra Modi to become single-use plastic free, Mr. Jindal across JSW has come out saying that we at JSW would not be using any single-use plastics. So from that time, way back in 2019-20, we have started assessing all our sites and have eradicated all the single-use plastic across our operations. So we can probably say that our operations are single-use operations and offices are single-use plastic free, and our employees, our stakeholders, internal as well as externals, have supported us in making alternatives to very small items, like even when we serve small packets, nashtas in sort of a small package, how do we replace that with an other alternative material? But today we have banned all the single-use plastic across all our locations. We have typically a couple of projects which are new, which are helping us to achieve better circularity, better utilization of waste, and in fact saving of natural resources also. We have a plastic recycling plant what it does is that we collect the plastics which are generated in our townships to some extent near to the communities also. And we try to inject that plastic, use it into the coke ovens, which is there inside our plants, which are used for steel making. And the capacity of this is established at 3 tons of plastic a day. That's what the plastic, it can go still higher, but that's the quantity of plastic we are able to presently collect and reuse in our plants, with a vision that probably tomorrow we are in talks with local municipalities also. And if we get more plastic, probably we can utilize more into our plants. The other aspect is the bottom right is we use some of the plastics in packaging. So it prevents moisture ingress. Along with what it does is that it facilitates the safe transportation of our products to the consumers. And in that category, we have been utilizing some plastics traditionally. Our teams have done extensive research how we can get rid of that plastics, typically when it comes to the logos, or it comes to sandwiching, or it comes to protecting the material. And what we have done, we have tried to use more quantity of metal, we have tried to use more quantity of probably wood, and reduce, go on reducing the plastics. So till now, probably what we have achieved over here is we have already, in fact, now we have gone to 70% of plastic reduction, which was traditionally from 400 grams per ton of steel to less than 200 grams per ton of steel now. One of the interesting projects which is being developed, and now it is being operated successfully, we have an electric arc furnace. And typically coal fines are used into the electric arc furnace. The plastics, again, what we collect from the nearby vicinity of our plants, we have tried to develop a nice process by which we are able to inject that plastic to the tune of probably 3 tons per day capacity. Today we are operating at 1 ton per day. And when it goes into the electric arc furnace, what it does is that it helps us not only to clean up the surroundings, but also tries to reduce. We are able to reduce equivalent tonnage of coal into our operations. So tentatively, what we say, typically 1,000 tons of carbon dioxide related to 300 tons of coal, which is being saved, is avoided in going to the atmosphere. And I'll just try to probably show a small video so that it gives you an understanding of what it is, what this process is looking like. If I can just switch on the video, please.
Steel industry.
You have to share the video presentation if you want to share the video.
It is started, so I hope you can see.
You just have to hold the video, pause the video, and then unscreen this particular thing and select the video panel.
So I have to stop sharing?
Yeah, you can stop screening first and then share again the video. Try to click share and then you select the video.
Is it visible, audible and visible now?
Yes, yes.
Its sustainable use and recycling has become a serious environmental challenge. Developing global, cost-effective, and environmentally sustainable polymers. Research and development wing at JSW Steel Limited working on developing many technologies for sustainable recycling of various steel plant wastes. In-house pilot scale trials confirmed the sustainability of using plastics in electric power as a partial replacement of coal fires.
If it's possible to increase the volume of the video.
This is the maximum it is going.
Okay.
technology to recycle plastics in electric arc furnace as a foaming agent has been developed and invented by JSW Steel. In this process, plastics generated at various departments in steel plants are collected and shifted to the shredder plant, where all the mixed waste plastic is shredded to less than 5 mm in size in 2 steps of shredding process. These shredded plastic is packed in jumbo bags, shifted to steel making shop for injection to electric arc furnace. Low density materials such as shredded plastics, paper, etc. tend to coalesce, form chunks, or generate dispersed motion inside the holding vessel, resulting in slowing down. Stop the material discharge into the main plant. JSW Steel has developed a new pneumatic conveying system for low density shredded and powdered materials without the use of large silos or dispensers. The fluidization channels help to swell section and provide consistent flow into the line without jamming. This being system on the shop floor of SS3 of JSW conveys shredded plastic into electric arc furnace using 82% closer of shredded plastic and replacing equally coke fines. This process helps in reducing approximately 1,000 tons of carbon dioxide emissions and reduced coke fines usage. In addition, the reduction in usage of carbon-bearing materials. The project also resulted in annual cost savings of 1.97 billion in JSW Steel strives relentlessly in developing innovative techniques in environmental protection and recycling methods, with sustainable, eco-friendly systems, team effort in protecting the earth for future generations. JSW and
Thank you. So just to end, we have a vision, as we said, for recycling of plastics and all different types of waste. We have been registered as an EPR and will significantly strive to do whatever best we can to reduce the waste and recycle it to the extent possible, making it a wealthy proposition. Yes, thank you from my side.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. May I request now Dr. Jyoti Hadley on behalf of Mr. K.R. Raghunath. She is the director of KIS Group. Kindly give the special address.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to share my presentation here.
Yeah, please click on the share screen and
Yeah. I'm doing that. Okay, so are you able to see that now?
yes.
Okay, so actually, I don't know, I'm a misfit for this particular presentation because it all deals with the inorganic waste. But what we are dealing is with the organic waste, the organic type of component that is available here. So, however, I'll run through my presentations. So we are the brief details about our KIS group is that all our projects are registered for carbon credits, ECS and IREC. And I'll be dealing with some success stories in some biogas plants, that is to power generation and to bio-CNG, and some of the construction that are currently going on, and some of the testimonials and summary and conclusions. So this was founded, KIS Group was founded in 2006, and we have grown as a market leader. And we have a 100% track record with all our projects, with 70% revenues coming from repeat orders. And we are the most awarded brand, and we have our own manufacturing facilities, and all our projects are registered with the CDM POA since 2012. And we are present in 8 countries of 4 continents, and we have executed projects in about 14 countries. And we are proud to say that we are one of the Asia's largest biogas or biomethane producers with 10,24,000 meter cube per day of biogas production, either in terms of biomethane or for power generation. And all our projects, as I mentioned earlier, are carbon registered projects, and we have also producers of carbon credits to the tune of about 29, almost 30 lakhs carbon credits in all these years. And our core strength is, we are in complete turnkey solutions from concept to commissioning. We also manufacture certain equipments, and we have our own technology, in-house technology for certain, for certain sulfur removal systems or upgradation systems. And we also do the BOOM projects, that is build, own, operate, and management. And we have a dedicated team for operations and maintenance, because that is the key for any biogas plant, to sustain it for a long time of about 10 years or something like that. So, and then all our projects, as I mentioned, it is carbon registered projects. And we are also into trading of carbon credits. So this is our, we have 3 verticals in our company. First is we generate bioenergy from all the organic waste, and we also manufacture the critical equipments. We are also into carbon management. So basically we are, the complete end-to-end solutions up till the, registration of the project and securing of carbon credits. And most of our industries are organic waste industries, like municipal waste, palm oil mill, then starch, solid waste, then liquid waste, sugar industries, dairy and paper and pulp industries. So this is our portfolio. And these are some of the awards that we have received from different parts of the world. That this particular award was, we received at Birmingham, which for generating biogas power from the biogas plant of less than 1 megawatt category. And these are also some of the awards that we have received with the Ministry of Indonesia, with the Ministry of India, and also Dun & Bradstreet. So these are some of the awards that we have received for our work. And this is the slide that shows, whatever the organic waste is available, like cow dung, poultry, then pig waste, or the municipal solid waste. So we will be generating biomethane or bio-CNG, and we also extract carbon dioxide out of it, which can be used in the industries. And we also recover sulfur from that. And the main component is the biofertilizer. Excuse me, what is it?
May I request remaining speakers to off the mic, only except the current speaker, ongoing speaker.
Okay, so, and then the main component is the biofertilizer, which, the whole world is going towards organic farming. And with these projects, we can, generate biofertilizers, and this can also qualify as a carbon, carbon credits. So these are some of our, this is the flagship project that we have done for the Prime Minister's constituency in Varanasi, wherein, we have, we are taking cow dung for about 100 tons, and then we are generating power out of that. And whatever the organic, the waste that comes out of the digester, we are, manufacturing the brome, that is the manure. So this is one of the projects. We did it in record 8 months. So this is another project we have done for the Manas Dairy. Again, it is potato waste and cow dung waste, and whatever the the bio-CNG that is being produced, that is being used in the dispenser system, that is for the filling of vehicles. So this is the project that we have done. And yeah, this is the video of this project.
You are not audible.
So this was the, this was the video of our Banas project. And also we have done a couple of projects in Nepal. These are some of the, projects in Nepal for municipal solid waste and poultry waste. And, we are also doing the municipal solid waste in Bharuch and Bhavnagar. It is still in the financial closure stage. So this is the municipal solid waste project of 300 tons per day. So then these are some of the projects we have done for palm oil mill effluent, sugar industry, then Napier grass and mushroom waste, paddy straw. So these are some of our projects, just references. So this is one flagship project we have done in Malaysia, wherein we are generating biomethane, and then we are, we are supplying this biomethane to 2 villages in Malaysia to replace their LPG. So this is another project. So then these are some of the projects references we have. So these are some of the references that we have done all these years of 17 years. So I'll just run through the slides. And yeah, this is one more project we have done for the paper industry, that is paper effluent. When we are manufacturing paper, so there is an effluent that is being generated. So this is the project which is present in Kurukshetra, wherein whatever the biogas is being produced is, we are converting it into bio-CNG, and this is being used either in the dispenser or, in their own energy requirements. And this is the video of the Sysons project that we have done. So this one show an overview of this.
Dr. Jyoti, can you give before some like how you are handling your plastic waste in your segregation in MSW? Do you have some
Okay.
picture of that? Because
Actually, I don't have any pictures of that.
Yeah.
Actually, I don't have any pictures of that. So
Yeah.
basically, the mixed waste is coming into our unit. So we have given a proposal, means we are just doing it. So there, what happens is at least around 50 to 55% of it is the inorganic waste. So whatever the inorganic component is there, we are, selling it to the people who can, generate electricity out of that. Because as of now, there are many projects that are coming up in Kerala and other places, wherein whatever the inorganic waste is there, they, they incinerate it, and then they generate electricity out of that. So this is, but we are not doing that part of it, but we are only doing the organic part of it. So that is
Good.
where we are.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Doctor.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Actually, I have a meeting, so I will be leaving this.
It's okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Just colleague will deliver a vote of thanks, and probably after that you can leave. Mr. Demala Banerjee is Regional Director of ICC. May I request him to do the vote of thanks?
Yeah. Thank you, Naveen. Am I audible? If the screen share can be stopped. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Naveen, for this wonderful program. So, Dr. Naresh Tyagi, Chairman of ICC Sustainable Council, Mr. Babu, Mr. Acharya, and Madam Jyoti, Naveen, and all the distinguished panelists and speakers. A very good afternoon to all of you. ICC is extremely committed. I'll not take much of your time in terms of protection of the environment, sustainability, operation and health safety, etc. Areas of operations. So EPR is a very, very new subject. Obviously, it is at its nascent stage in the country. But however, government has taken a lot of initiatives in terms of get it implemented. And ownership right now on the EPR clearly lies with the industry and not with the government. I was happy to understand how JSW has come out with beautiful plans, and Aditya Birla has come up with a beautiful plan in terms of not using single-use plastic. It would have been nice if, from the KIS group, if you would have also got such kind of downloads in terms of how they have, implemented the EPR in all their plants. Although they said that they have subscribed to the carbon credit program, which itself is a very welcoming step. So on behalf of the chamber, on behalf of the entire organization, I would like to thank all of you for taking your time out to be part of this meaningful discussion webinar on EPR. And I'm sure there are, other good speakers, which Naveen, my colleague, has lined up, who will share their deliberations after we closed the inaugural session. The minister was supposed to join, but then he again got stuck in another one conflicting program, who could not join. Nevertheless, all of you contributed to the deliberation in an effective manner. And I think that's very important when industry comes together and at least starts discussing about the subject. The role of the chamber is to bring the issues on the table, discuss and get the deliberations in the righteous track, which I think we are playing our role. It may be a small crowd, it may not be very glamorous, but at least senior people like Dr. Tyagi, Mr. Acharya, they all have come together and discussing the issues, which I think is adding a lot of value in terms of our contribution on the EPR side. Obviously, India is a signatory on the Paris Convention, and our commitment towards the environment, EPR is nothing but commitment towards the environment, remains unchanged, and ICC will stand by the industry in terms of implementation of EPR. Thank you so much. Thanks for giving a patient hearing. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Banerjee. We will move on to the technical session without further delay. May I request Ms. Soumya D, Scientist D, Regional Director, Pollution Control Board. Please go ahead with your presentation on role of CPCB. Ms. Soumya. Ms. Soumya, can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yes, very much. Thank you.
Yeah,
Please.
I just have one presentation. I'll just share the screen.
Sure.
Good evening to all. So today my presentation is on approaches for extended producer responsibility in plastic packaging, a success story. Basically, in this presentation, I'll highlight the role of CPCB and SPCBs in implementation of EPR for plastic packaging in the country and achievements made so far. So as Helen Keller said, alone we can do little and together we can achieve. Together we can do so much. Extended producer responsibility implementation for plastic packaging in our country is a classic example for this. So entire government missionaries like CPCB, MOF and SPCBs, they have worked together in close coordination to effectively enforce this EPR for plastic packaging first time in the country. So our country was much needed this EPR guidelines. Why? Because plastic consumption in India was in one decade, it has increased exponentially. That we can see in the graph, which is at the right hand side. And also we are the 5th highest in the world for plastic waste generation. And during 2021, we have generated around 4.1 million tons of plastic. So in view of this, MOF has notified guidelines for extended producer responsibility for plastic packaging in February 2022. And it was incorporated with our earlier plastic waste management rule as Schedule 2. So EPR is mainly it's a policy strategy, environmental policy strategy, in which producers are held responsible for environmentally sound management of the products which they are generating and releasing it to the market till the end of its life cycle. The main feature of this EPR is that
slides are not visible. Slides are not visible.
It's not visible. It's not moving.
It's not moving.
Now,
It's not moving.
Can you make full screen? Yeah, now it's moving.
I made a full screen. Okay, now I think in this mode it will work. But if I make it full screen, it was not moving.
Now we
I'll
can.
just present it in this mode only.
That's okay. That's okay.
Okay. So main feature of this EPR is it provides us with guidelines for reuse, recycle and use of recycled plastic content in the plastic packaging. And also it addresses the issue of end of life cycle. So basically it shifts the responsibility of plastic waste treatment, management of plastic waste from the urban local bodies to the producer who are in the upstream of the supply chain. And these producers are the one who are responsible for releasing this plastic packaging material to the market. In our guidelines, roles and responsibility of all these PIBOs and recyclers, plastic waste processors, SPCB, CPCB and PCC has clearly been defined. So key features and the model EPR model works in this way. Main feature of this is like we have obligated entities like producers, importers, brand owners, and plastic waste processors. And among these four, first three, that is producer, importer, brand owner are the one who generates the plastic waste, and plastic waste producers are the one who recycles it. So basically, this plastic waste generated is channelized to the plastic waste producers through local bodies and waste collection centers. And in EPR, along with this plastic waste which is generated is categorized into 4 categories. Like first category is rigid plastic, just like plastic bottles and tins. Category 2 is the flexible plastic, which includes sachets, plastic pouches, and plastic covers and bags. Category 3 is the multi-layer plastics, in which one layer of the packaging material is made up of 1 or 2 layer of plastic material, or 1 layer of plastic material, and other the next layer is like anything other than plastic material, that kind of plastic packaging material. And a 4th category is the compostable plastic. So we have a category-wise targets. Basically, it is the plastic packaging is categorized, and category-wise target for collection, reuse of the rigid plastic packaging, recycle of the packaging material, and reuse of recycled plastic content in the products are very well defined in our guidelines. So basically, this model, it works like Once the plastic waste is being generated, it is routed through the urban local bodies to the producers, plastic waste processors, and these processors, they will shred this and convert it into the granules. So once they convert the equivalent quantity to the plastic waste they have processed, they will generate the EPR certificates. So obligation for these PIBOs is that to the equivalent quantity to the plastic waste they are generating, they had to purchase those EPR certificates from the plastic waste processors, so that they have an obligation either to collect their waste and then channelize it to the processors, or they had to, through the processors, they had to collect it and process the plastic packaging material which they have generated. Basically, aim of this EPR is to develop a circular economy for plastic waste, and it also helps. It also motivates in development eco-friendly design of this plastic packaging, and also to promote the reuse. Design the plastic packaging so that it can be reused, or it will feasible for recycle. So this plastic waste processors includes recyclers who shred the plastic waste and convert it into the granules, which could be reused again, or the waste to energy plants, waste to oil plants, and also for industrial composting for category 4 plastic packaging waste. So these are the targets which is defined, and these are the minimum targets which is to be collected by targets to be achieved by the PIBOs. Targets for plastic packaging are estimated based on eligible quantity of the plastic material that is sold in the financial year, which I'll explain it in the next slide. So this also include the pre-consumer and post-consumer waste, whereas it excludes end-of-life disposal. End-of-life disposals are nothing but which is used in the cement kilns, waste to oil, waste to energy, and in road construction. Only the plastic waste which are not able to recycle, that will end up in the end-of-life disposal facilities. And the targets does not include this end-of-life disposal. This is how we estimate the quantity of EPR target, eligible quantity, and the EPR target. Eligible quantity is nothing but average weight of the plastic which is sold in the previous 2 years. That is like average quantity of the plastic packaging material they have sold. In addition to that, the pre-consumer plastic waste which is generated while manufacturing that packaging material, and it subtracts, it won't account for the quantity of plastic packages that has been sold to the brand owners. Why? Because this whatever material is sold to the brand owners, it is covered under the the obligation lies with the brand owners to collect that. So we are subtracting that quantity from the producers. Similarly, for importers, it is the average quantity of the material which is packaging material they have imported in last 2 financial years, and the pre-consumer waste. And again, whatever the quantity they are supplying to the brand owners are subtracted from the quantity. So once the eligible quantity is identified, then the target are fixed. From 2020, 23, 24 onwards, it is the 100% of the eligible quantity, like 100% of the packaging material they are releasing into the market has to be collected. And then out of collected material, there are certain targets, like for PIBOs, recycling target starts from 24, 25. And these are the category wise targets. What you can observe here is every year the target is increasing. And this is from 24, that is with a gap of 1 year, that is 2025, 26 onwards. Recycled plastic content for using the recycled plastic content in the products will start. And this is the percent of the EPR targets which they have collected has to be recycled, and recycled quantity should be used in the products. Specifically for category 1 waste, that is rigid plastics, there are special targets for reuse of this. Reuse targets will start from 25, 26 onwards. So this target is based on the capacity of the containers. Basically, when these containers or plastic packaging is reused, this target is subtracted from the total quantity of the plastic packaging material they have generated. That is from the eligible quantity in the target. So these targets has a validity of 3 years. So one whoever has fulfilled this target and category wise, and they have a surplus targets. So even though if they are PIBOs, they can use their target for trading. They can either offset their target from the previous year shortfall, or they can carry it for the succeeding years, or they can sell it to other PIBOs in the same category and same category of waste and the same category of PIBOs. Or PIBOs can also purchase the targets from PWPs. So when there is when the targets are not met, then there is a environmental compensation are imposed at the rate of 5,000 per ton of plastic manufactured. And this EC will environmental compensation will be held for 3 years. If the PIBOs achieve the target within 1 year, then 75% of the EC amount is returned. If it is achieved within 2 years, then 60% of the amount is returned. If it is achieved within 3 years, then 40% of the amount is returned. In case if the PIBOs are not able to fulfill the target within 3 years, then the entire EC amount will be forfeited. So one of the mandate of the PIBOs and PWPs as per the plastic waste management rule guidelines is that they had to register with the respective SPCBs and PCCs through the centralized EPR portal, which is developed by CPCB. This is the portal which is developed by CPCB. So if the PIBO is operating in 1 or 2 states, then with the respective state pollution control boards, they had to register through by sub application in this centralized portal only. And also which PIBOs which are operating in more than 2 states, they had to register with the CPCB. So this portal has 7 modules where and it become fully functional from January 2023 onwards. So it has a provision for registration of the PIBOs and PWPs. They can trade the EPR obligations in portal. Annual returns can be filed, and also environmental compensation will be automatically calculated based on the shortfall in the targets. Third-party audits are also made, even the inspections also carried out. And also we have a training module or capacity building modules which are integrated with in the portal itself. So on developing of the portal, CPCB convened a series of workshops and training for SPCBs and PCCs as well as the stakeholders. SOPs were developed and guidelines documents were developed how to register in the portal, how to use this portal, and also it was uploaded in the portal itself to make it easier for the stakeholders. And a help desk was also created to address the issues of the stakeholders, and series of directions under Section 5 of Environmental Protection Act was issued to various stakeholders for registering of the PIBOs and PWPs and also for SPCBs and PCCs to ensure effective implementation of EPR. So based on the directions issued, even SPCBs has taken several measures throughout the country, and even at the district level, they have conducted extensive mass awareness programs for PIBOs and PWPs to apply for the registration in the EPR portal in association with the Plastic Manufacturers Association and all, and rather like several workshops were conducted to facilitate registration in the EPR portal. Notifications were published in print medias, and also in Karnataka, specifically consent mela was also organized in February 22 to facilitate MSMEs to obtain consent under Water and Air Act, because Water and Air consent under Water and Air Act was mandatory for getting authorization under plastic waste management rule. So consent mela was organized specifically for MSMEs to facilitate them to get the consent as well as registration. So even SPCBs has officials were trained to conduct a physical verification of these PWPs and also include the data in the portal so that PWPs were enabled to generate the EPR certificates. So this is the outcome of all these activities. Presently, over 8,000 PIBOs are registered within 1 year of launching of this EPR portal. And we can see that earlier it was only 300 PIBOs were registered prior to the notification of EPR guidelines, and only 400 PWPs were registered. Now the registration, now around 1,800 PWPs has been registered. Also, we can see an exponential increase in importers. Earlier, there were like only 600 importers were registered. Now it is around 4,300 importers are registered in the portal. Apart from this, there are like around 15,000 PIBOs. They have already submitted their application for registration, which are yet to be registered. This is one slide which shows that Karnataka's example, whereas the similar trend is followed in almost all the state. After notification of these guidelines, we can see that there is an increasing trend in registration of PIBOs as well as PWPs. So there are like 2,289 PWPs which are applied for registration in the EPR portal. In that, 1,847 has been registered, and these are the category-wise PWPs which are registered. And in Gujarat, Delhi, Maharashtra, and Karnataka has more number of PWPs which are registered. And the total of 3.38 million tons of plastic packaging is covered under EPR target by PIBOs during the year 22-23. So this is one interesting slide which I want to highlight, is that when we look into the national scenario of capacity of the PWPs to process the plastic waste, plastic packaging waste is much more higher than the required quantity. That is, these are the targets which are in brown, EPR targets or obligations. And we can see that we have enough capacity of plastic waste processors to process the waste. Only thing what we need to do is we need to channelize the waste to these processors for proper processing. So this is one of the screenshot of our EPR portal, which is developed by CPCB, where we can see year-wise targets, year-wise and category-wise targets, and the targets which are achieved for purchased and processed. This is the dashboard which is available for public also. They can see how many PIBOs and PWPs which are registered in real-time basis. So this is another interesting slide where in the portal we can see that category-wise EPR certificate totally generated. What it means is this much quantity of plastic waste has been processed in the previous year, and quantity of plastic waste which are disposed through end of life cycle. Basically, before this EPR portal was developed, even though there was a little bit of plastic waste processing going on, there was no accountability or traceability. But with the development of this portal, traceability, accountability has been increased. So overall, what you can observe is by this implementation of the EPR guidelines is there is an exponential rise in registration of PIBOs and PWCs in the portal, and consolidated information of PIBOs, PWPs, EPR target, category-wise waste generated, recycle are available in the single platform. This has led to transparency, traceability, and accountability to fulfill the EPR obligations. And also, there is a model now. This has increased this. This has created a platform for circular economy where the EPR targets are allowed and the EPR certificates are allowed for trading through the centralized portal. So what main thing here is with the continuous support of all the stakeholders, we still need to encourage, and through mass awareness, we need to more and more PIBOs and PWPs register in this portal, and through the support of all the stakeholders, which India shall, we are sure that India will lead as an example in EPR implementation for plastic packaging in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Soma. Thank you, Ms. Soumya, for your fantastic
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you.
May I request now Mr. Vijay Kumar V, President of Karnataka State Polymer Association, to present on sustainability and circular economy for the plastic industry. Mr. Vijay Kumar.
Sir, Vijay Kumar, sir, 1 second. Sir, actually, I have one of the inspection which I had. That's why I had to leave now.
That's okay.
And also, Vinod Babu sir has told me to inform you all that since he had one of the meeting, he'll also be leaving the session. And any questions are there, you can just pass it on through the coordinators to us. We will address those issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Soumya. Mr. Vijay Kumar. Yeah.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Can I have my, I can share it from here?
Yes,
or,
yes, you can share
Can you share it from there?
Yes. Just share screen and you can press the button and you can share. How much? I request Mr. Vijay Kumar if it's possible to restrict till 10 minutes.
It is less than 10 minutes. I don't have much
Okay.
slides. How to share, because that is the reason I was not knowing how to share. 1 second. Files. 1 second.
Sir, I'll share on behalf of you.
Yeah, please. Thank you. Thank you, Charles. Yeah. Good evening to everyone. I am Mr. Vijay Kumar, the president of the Karnataka State Polymer Association, also advisor to Government of Karnataka on EPR and PWM rules. At the outset, I thank the organizers for bringing the subject of the EPR, which is a burning issue now in the country. Either it is of plastic or any other sustainable waste which is generated by the consumers in the black spots. Can I go to the next slide, please? Yeah. Now the major issue for the plastic industries who are producing the packaging material and supplying to the brand owners, either they are registered or unregistered, or the commodity market, are facing a lot of problems because of the complexity of the EPR. The major issue which is coming to the industry is that a lot of industries, out of almost about 25,000 plus across the country, who produce the packaging material for the end users or from micro and small. Now, for them to register under EPR is a major issue. And the procedural compliances, like the documentations required to get the EPR certificate, is too complex for an MSME. And lastly, the complexity means, as per the EPR concerned, is for the rigid containers, which is actually done 100% recycling in the country before the EPR came. Now that has also become a mandate under EPR for rigid containers. Next slide. Now, the challenges what we face by the industries after the EPR implementation from the 16th February 2022 is the burden of the compliance on micro and small industries is very huge when compared to major industries who are already doing the business in the country. And the small and micro industries are actually, it is a one-man show. There the owner, the entrepreneur himself he is working on the machine, or he is doing a dispatch, or he is delivering the goods. For him to go through the EPR compliances is costing him a lot of money, as well as the time spent on uploading the documents for an EPR compliance for those micro and small industries is very high. And it is also will put a question mark, because these type of industries are operated with the minimal manpower, but once the EPR compliances are coming into effect, the new employment has to be made for generating the EPR compliances documents, human resources increasing, and thousands of crores of investments, which in turn for compliances of EPR will lead to NPS, because these industries are basically supplying to a unregistered brand owners, because these unregistered brand owners EPR obligation is falling on the small and micro industries who process the packaging material. And the packaging material, as I said in the third point, is the packaging material supplied to non-registered brand owners will attract environmental penalty if they are not able to complete the EPR obligation, which they are supplied to this type of brand owners who are exempted under the EPR module. Means the small and micro of brand owners are exempted under EPR, but whereas a producer under small and micro are not exempted under EPR. And it is also increasing the harassment by the implementing authority for small and micro, because the compliances they ask, the certificates they ask, which is not sustainable for a circular economy, and it is hampering the progress of the industry. Next slide. Next slide, please. Next slide. No, previous slide, please. I think it's a little slow because of the network. Okay. No, previous. Okay. Now these, I think one more slide is missing. Can you go back, please? Okay. No. One more. Okay. The small and micro industries already. This slide is over. Next slide, please. Okay. This TPCB portal was rightly said by the previous speaker, Dr. Soumya. The CPCB portal is still to stabilize as per as the uploading of the documents by the PIBOs, because a lot of developments have happened for last 1 year after the implementation. A lot of amendments have happened in the APR modules. There have been various modules which have rolled out in November. These are all hindered the increase the complications for uploading the document. So the CPCB portal is still to stabilize even after 1 year. And the portal asks for very intricate documents, which is not required for an EPR module, which as an association, we have taken up with the government, and the government was kind enough to accept out of our 15 amendments required, almost 12 have been accepted till date, but the implementation is in progress. And also the guidelines, it contains more than 75 pages. Original document is about 75 pages. After that, more than 70 to 80 documents have been amended. So to comply with this comprehended document for an MSME industry before registration is a huge task and requires a lot of time to understand. And this is evident in the poor registration. The slides shown by the Dr. Soumya before this, my presentation, I think this is only updated. I think there is an improvement after the amendments are made. Still, the registration is not as expected by the government. And the small and micro brand owners are exempted from the EPR registration, but not the small and micro industries of the producers category. Next slide. And the biggest challenge what now we are facing after the new financial year started, the raw material suppliers, the domestic raw material suppliers like Reliance, GAIL, IOCL or any other entity in the country have been directed to stop supply of raw material after May 31st for the non-registered industries who are not come under the EPR guidelines. So this will impact on the small and micro, because this will lead to the closure of the units, and because they have already supplied in the market for last 2-3 financial years, will lose the returns of the goods what they supplied, and also loss of employment. And added to this, CPCB have instructed the customs department across the country in all the ports and in the airports not to release any polymer imports which has come from outside the country if the person who is using or the importer, if he has not done the EPR registration. Because this particular polymers what we are importing is all specialized grades, which basically is the need for the dairy industries, oil industries, and some specialized products which the domestic suppliers of the raw material does not produce. And this also is leading where the imports have been not cleared for want of EPR registration. It is costing huge demurrage charges for the importers till they complete the process of EPR registration and release their consignments. Next slide. Now, to go forward, what the importers are facing, the delay in imports in clearing has already started strain on the supply chain of the many industries that I informed you, that especially the food industry, the milk industry, especially Amul, KMF, wherever the milk supplies, the one particular polymer which is used in this packaging is not produced in the country. It has to be imported. Now these consignments are lying in the ports, and this is also creating a chaos for the further supplies. And basic problem with this EPR model is that it is covering the pre-consumer waste as well as the post-consumer waste. Actually, pre-consumer waste is a virgin plastic, which normally is recycled within the premises of the producers, or it is routed to a registered plastic waste processor who converts into a recycled granule. So this EPR scope should be limited to only post-consumer plastic packaging instead of pre-consumer, because this is not only will increase the recycling capacities, and also it will help the environment to reduce the post-consumer waste coming into black spots. And the rigid plastic containers of the industrial utility like barrels, drums, these are all recycled. It does not come into black spot, nor it goes into environment. These type of rigid packaging material should be removed from the EPR obligation. It should be excluded, and they should be exempted from the EPR registration. Next slide. Now, this is our proposal, what we have already been taking up with the concerned departments for last 1 year through the core group of the association led by the All India Plastic Manufacturers Association. We have been telling the government and the implementing authorities, the small and micro producers of the plastic packaging material should be exempted from the EPR, like what they have done for the micro and small brand owners. And the micro and small producers, if you do that, they will get aligned towards the objective of the EPR compliance, and they will also be willing to contribute to the cost of lump sum fees. Means like a small and micro can be charged of a particular amount, like GST registration also. Some are exempted under GST up to particular turnover. They have been charged on an annual basis. Like that, they can charge to these micro and smaller producers in lieu of the EPR related cost as agreed between the government as well as the industry. And it should be from the date of application, not from the retrospective date like 2021 financial year. Alternatively, like what I emphasized, a GST model also can be rolled out on EPR for this type of micro and small producers. The EPR obligation must be connected with the production volumes of the enterprises, longer timelines for the compliance, because plastic waste does not come back to the recycling immediately. It takes minimum 60 to 90 days to come into circular economy. They should be allowed for a longer timelines for compliance and bare minimum producers, because these micro and small units cannot embrace EPR regime with a less manpower and less turnover. Next slide. And we also request with the present EPR models being extended up to already the registration has been over in the month of May. Now they've extended for the plastic waste processor to give the EPR certificate on the EPR obligation till June. Uploading of the annual documents required for the next year EPR renewal is extended up to September. We are requesting it should be extended up to next year, 31st March 2024, means this financial year 23-24. And the CPCB should streamline all its deficiencies in the portal. And first onboard all the brand owners, irrespective of small or micro and EPR portal. Let the CPCB decide who is exempted under EPR module of small and micro. For a producer, it is very difficult to find out why brand owner, unregistered brand owner, whether he falls under a small or micro as exempted in the EPR. Let the CPCB portal decide so that the obligation automatically will get transferred to the producer. Plastic associations like us should be roped in by the CPCB and SPCB in conducting awareness programs, which in our Karnataka state, Madam Dr. Soumya also has informed in the last presentation. We have done a lot of activities on EPR. We have tried to bring the unorganized sector into the mainstream by registering them in the consent melas. So these type of workshops should be conducted for all the stakeholders as well as state pollution boards. And lastly, again, we emphasize rigid containers of industrial utility should be kept out of EPR ambit. Next slide. The conclusion, industries of packaging producers believe that a fair review in the matter of EPR is to ensure survival of EPR MSME producers who contribute to the packaging needs of remaining industrial activity like food, milk, any other industries you name today requires a packaging material to promote their products. MSME producers of plastic packaging materials provide gainful employment to millions of people across the country and are also facilitating India's journey towards 5 trillion economy in an earnest need of the sector. Because we are contributing almost 32 to 35% of GST collection in the country. So you can imagine the packaging industry, how much contribution they are making in the economy of the improving the economy of the country, as well as generating the employment to the sectors where government cannot come in, pitch in and give them employment. And the timely intervention would whatever the suggestions we have given or requests we have given, if the interventions have been made by the government agencies who are implementing the EPR modules, will definitely help the industries, and also the PM's vision of the 5 trillion economy, we can see it in the coming days. With this, my last slide, I thank the organizers for presenting this presentation on the circular economy of the plastic industries. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay Kumar. We are grateful to you for your fantastic presentation. Now, may I request Dr. Sunil Pandey, Director, TERI, Environment and Waste Management, to kindly give your presentation on effective implementation of investment towards circular solutions in India.
Thank you. I think you can see my slide.
Yes, correct.
Is this on full? Yeah, it's on full screen mode. Thank you so much. So I'll not go into much because EPR on plastic and everything has been talked about. I'll go basically on a broader picture on how investment can be brought to ensure the circular solutions. And I'll start with a basic slide on what basically circular economy. When we say circular economy, how is it important to be implemented in material production? And if you look at a circular economy through resource efficiency perspective, because in the inaugural session we also talked about resource efficiency, circular economy simply ensures that our economy grows and becomes less dependent on resource use and contributes to better environment. Circular economy, as the definition says, it basically aims at designing out waste, less and less waste finally is needed to be disposed through adoption of waste reduction strategies and through adoption of design features like design for environment, which I'll come back as a policy measure later also. Reuse, which has been part of EPR now, if you look at plastic waste, repairability and recycling. Thus, circular economy focus on all the three verticals: economy, accelerating growth, social job creation and employment, and also environment by reducing pollution and associated greenhouse gas emission. Key consideration for industry when you look at why industry should be looking at circular economy enablers. Key consideration for that to happen is how industries can design products and processes with asset recovery in mind, so that nothing gets wasted. How we can source material in a regenerative loop so that linear flows are discarded and material use is into circular mode, and how we can develop a revenue model that protects value up and down the resource value chain. And finally, how we can onboard our customers, because customers essentially define what kind of product we make and what kind of packaging we use for ensuring responsible choices so that circular economy principles can be embedded in products and product. However, when we look at literature, when we look at the earlier studies done on circular economy, there are certain barriers identified for while incorporating adoption of circular economy. And some of these key barriers include we are so used to linear product design, first bullet here, that it becomes difficult sometimes to go to circular economy principles. Lack of economic driver, not only economic driver, but also policy support currently is weak in many countries to recover material from waste. Resistance of not only consumers, but also producers to change. Limited knowledge about the subject. It's a nascent field. It's a growing field where, I mean, more and more we are studying it, more and more we are understanding it. Stakeholder engagement problem. And when we look at this from an investment perspective on how basically we build a circular economy, starting from the bullets on the right-hand side, left-hand side, designing products for which can be dismantled easily, which can be recycled easily, optimizing collection systems so that value recovery can happen, value recycling can happen, not avoiding cross-contamination in the products. Incentivizing uptake of recyclate, because recyclate is more so is an important issue in the plastic, and create a resilient market for recyclate so that more and more recyclate can come into recycling product in products. Implementing EPR to address environmental externalities of the product, and we have already had a good discussion on EPR, so I'll not go much into that. Encouraging a change in consumption pattern, looking at promoting green products which are made from less and less hazardous and toxic materials, so that they are not only they last longer, but also when they have to be discarded, they can be easily recovered and material recovery can happen, recycling can happen. Encourage sharing and leasing practices instead of purchasing a product. For leasing and sharing practices can be adopted. Encouraging investment and innovation in recycling and recovery. And all these, I mean, for example, if you look at good design on the your right-hand side chart, feedstock recycling, finance for new infrastructure, increased investment leads, all these basically lead to increased investment in new recycling, new circular economy infrastructure. And if you look at market, a previous speaker was also talking about $1 trillion economy. Fortunately, if you look at the studies carried out in past, for example, a study carried out by New York's Stock Exchange by Accenture Strategy Network, it clearly says that adopting circular economy can generate resources to the tune of $4.5 trillion globally by adopting circular economy principles by 2030. So, I mean, there is a clear-cut business sense there, and it makes sense basically to adopt circular economy principles. And they also will help decoupling economic growth from natural resource consumption while driving greater competitiveness. Some strategies why, I mean, how in a broader sense, not only for plastic packaging, how how adopting circular economy can be achieved. For example, reducing material usage, dependence on natural resources would finally lead to reducing waste generation in the longer run. Adopting modular design practices where a defective part can be simply removed and replaced by a functional part, so that you don't have to throw entire product if there's a minor defect. Focus on repair. Repair culture has to be brought back again, though it's already happening in many of these electronic goods where repaired products have come again in demand, and also designing products for repairability so that they can be easily repaired. Ultimately, what we will be looking at is creating societies which are zero waste societies, as a broader picture, where all the resources, all the value which can be recovered from a product when it becomes waste at the end of life can be recovered, and creating situation where we aspire for zero landfill cities, zero garbage landfill cities. Benefit obviously is reduction in uncontrolled greenhouse gas emissions, reduction in landfill fires at the dump sites, minimizing waste to the landfill, resource recovery from the waste, and creation of green jobs. So I'll end here. Thank you so much for the opportunity given to me. I'll be happy to take any questions in the end.
Thank you, Dr. Sunil Pandey.
Thank you.
We would like to move on to the next and last speaker, Mr. Rahul V. Poddar. Mr. Poddar is Managing Director of the Shakti Plastic Industries. He would go with the presentation elements of EPR. Mr. Rahul Poddar.
Yes.
Would you like to do a presentation or?
Yeah, I have a presentation. We
Yes.
have shared the presentation with the team. So if they can present it, I can start.
May I request my team to share the presentation, please? Charles, do you have the presentation to share?
Or
You have the presentation, can you share?
I have a presentation with me also.
Yeah, one sec.
Yeah.
So I'll start myself. Rahul Poddar, I am the Managing Director of Shakti Plastic Industries. First of all, thanks for giving us this opportunity to present here about on EPR, and mostly all the major points were covered by our friends Vijayji and others. So I'll not take much time, but I'll focus more on EPR compliance and recycling part on it. So basically, yeah, can we move on to the next slide? Next slide, please.
Can you make full screen and make next slide, Charles?
I think you'll have to click enable editing first on the top.
No, it's okay.
Shall I do? Can you give me rights to share so I can share? Naveen?
Are you able to change the slide, Charles, or?
Yeah. Can you go to slide number 2? Yes, so I will, thank you. So I'd like to start with a brief introduction, a small, so basically Shakti Plastics, we see that, EPR is a very important part, where an element where we are all discussing, but, to make it more sustainable and more, viable, recycling plays a very important role in the entire ecosystem of EPR compliance, which is driven by MOEF and CPCB. Of course, there are so many challenges in this, but again, if it's all depend on the recyclability of plastic waste materials in a proper manner using the right technology. For that, we recently collaborated with LyondellBasell to set up world's biggest recycling plant in India, where of course, in EPR compliance, there's a mandate to use 30% recycled granules, and that mandate we have to fulfill it as being a recycler and a industry stakeholder. So we are setting up a plant where we will produce food grade and non-food grade granules using LyondellBasell technology, which is already established. Apart from that, digitalization is also plays a very important role where traceability of materials and on the execution part, it is very important for a brand owner to provide full traceability of the material and justify the life cycle of all the polymer waste. So for that, we also collaborated, tied up with CircleX, invested in that startup, supported it to scale up digitalization in waste management in India. So apart from this, supporting municipal bodies, collection, setting up collection plants, collection facilities, infrastructure all over the country. Again, it plays a very important role in EPR part. We are currently working with 600 plus brand owners where we are providing them end-to-end EPR, facility and all everything. Yes, can we move on to the next slide?
Enable editing, Charles, and move on next slide. Maybe it can do faster.
So basically, we at Shakti, what we do, we provide total solutions to brands. Now, there are so many challenges like Vijay ji was mentioning in his presentation about brand getting registered, filling the data, details of the brands, producers, importers, for filing EPR applications and all. Now, again, there are certain challenges which are faced by PWPF. As a recycler, as a PWPF, again, we also face a lot of challenges. Once we issued some certificates to brands or PIBOs, there's no system to revoke it back. By any means, if we have transferred some wrong credits to any brands or some extra credits, there is no possibility of taking it back. So again, there should be some systems where there should be some gaps for errors also. There are it's an all manual thing. There may be some manual gaps. So again, we also suggested CPCB to frame it in a way where we can get the credits back if it is wrongly transferred due to some systems. So this is what is a major problem. Secondly, we see that in cement plants, waste to energy plants, initially we used to supply materials and get the credits on the quantity of supplied material. But now, moving with time, now the credits will be issued on the basis of the calorific value and waste energy generation, and that is not justified and not streamlined. So that's where again there are a lot of challenges in getting certificates from waste to energy plants and cement plants. And we don't know when it will be streamlined, and there's already mandate in place where all the brands are already asking for credits, and cement plants and waste to energy plants are not able to provide it, as their facilities are not being audited. They don't know how much credits they can give. So there are certain challenges what everyone is facing, and I think it's an initial stage. The process will be fine-tuned, but as a mandatory compliance, it should be done on priorities where the industry is facing a lot of challenges because of that. Apart from that, there should be some provisions. What we generally recommend to government bodies and industry stakeholders is like there should be some provisions for recycled materials also. Now, we all know that there's no infrastructure available for supplying of recycled granules for a high, packaging applications. Now, there's a very aggressive target of usage of 30% recycled materials by 2025, and it's a huge volumes, and it's all covered under EPR compliance. Now, today also a lot of brand owners have started using recycled materials, but the problem is that the credits are not getting offset. So basically, if a brand is using 5% of recycled materials, 100 tons of recycled granules, that quantity should get offset in EPR compliance. So again, that's where brands are facing challenge where they are using recycled materials, but are not getting the credits against it. So there are certain challenges in the entire ecosystem. And I think we have raised it multiple times through some government platforms, and we can of course be a part of it and get involved in recommendations and suggestions, and hopefully things can get resolved very fast. This was some of the points, and some of the points were in my slides, but I think we are facing some challenges, so that's not a problem. I can conclude on it. And also 1 or 2 points which I would like to highlight is like we on EPR compliance now, the government should focus on more on this use of recycled products. They should also mandate use of recycled products by in ways of to government bodies or to some retail outlets or to consumers, give some benefits, subsidies. If a consumer buys a product which is out of waste or sustainable or eco-friendly, there should be some policy, some schemes for that, where we have to promote it, promote the product. So there are a lot of startups, NGOs in India where they are
stop scaring, man. What is idiotic things? And if you can't change, just stop sharing.
Yeah. So basically, products and all. So basically, we have to focus on products also. Now, what is our suggestion that government should move on to the lines where they should give additional support, benefits, infrastructure support to the companies or to the producers who are producing sustainable products out of plastic waste and all, because only mechanical recycling or only chemical recycling cannot fulfill the entire EPR compliance of the country and solve the entire plastic problem in the country. So we have to work on multiple lines. Like EPR is one part, and in EPR again, is something where 100% waste problem will not be resolved. So there should be multiple ways to resolve this waste issue. For example, there's already ample of plastic waste lying in the country and the generation which is happening on day-to-day basis. So we have to manage both the waste. So there should be more policies, more policy, more support, more incentive should be there in terms to manage the entire waste in India. So we have to promote this, like in parts of other countries like Europe and US. Governments have already started promoting products out of waste, and this is again a very important part in the entire ecosystem. So this is another suggestions or recommendations. I think I have covered all major points, and rest other points were already covered by previous speakers. So I would like to conclude on this.
Thank you, Mr. Poddar. Request all the inaugural guests and speakers for joining. We are grateful. And the minister has conveyed his message. He had congratulated ICC and promised all his support for after having submitting the proceedings report, and also conveyed his gratitude for all the speakers. We will be doing the second version on EPR on plastic packaging. That would be from the first week of July or the end of June. So we'll keep you posted. Thank you everyone for joining. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.